Let's get right into it. Number 1. The tired brain. Stranger than you think. Ever had one of those days where you're so tired that reality starts to feel a little off? Maybe you catch yourself staring at the same sentence for minutes, or you walk into a room and instantly forget why you're there. It's easy to laugh these moments off as just being tired. But what if I told you that your brain is actually performing a series of bizarre, almost alien tricks when you're running on empty? Fatigue doesn't just make you yawn or crave coffee. It can warp your senses, scramble your memory, and even make you see things that aren't there. In fact, the tired brain is a master illusionist, quietly distorting your world in ways you might never notice until you're wide awake again. Today we're diving deep into the strange secret life of your brain when you're exhausted. From hallucinations to emotional roller coasters, from memory blackouts to the weird phenomenon of microsleeps, we'll explore the science, the stories, and the evolutionary reasons behind these oddities. So if you've ever wondered why you feel like a different person after a sleepless night, or why your mind seems to betray you when you need it most, stick around. The truth is, your tired brain is far stranger and more fascinating than you ever imagined. Let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on inside your head when sleep is in short supply. Number 2. Hallucinations when exhaustion blurs reality. Let's start with one of the most unsettling tricks your tired brain can play: hallucinations. You might think hallucinations are reserved for people with serious mental health conditions or those who've taken powerful drugs. But sleep deprivation can bring them to almost anyone. After just one night of poor sleep, your brain's ability to filter out irrelevant information starts to break down. The result? You might see fleeting shadows out of the corner of your eye, hear your name whispered when no one's around, or even feel a phantom touch on your skin. These aren't just random glitches. They're your brain's desperate attempt to make sense of a world it's too tired to process correctly. In fact, studies have shown that after 24 hours without sleep, nearly 80% of people will experience some form of visual or auditory hallucination. It's as if your mind, running low on energy, starts to fill in the blanks with whatever it can find, blurring the line between reality and imagination. This isn't just spooky. It's a survival mechanism gone haywire. When you're exhausted, your brain prioritizes what it thinks is most important, sometimes inventing threats or signals that aren't really there. So the next time you see something strange after a sleepless night, remember, it's not a ghost or a glitch in the matrix, it's your brain, running on fumes, trying to keep you alert in the weirdest way possible. Number 3. Memory glitches, forgetfulness, and false memories. But hallucinations are just the tip of the iceberg. When you're tired, your brain's memory system starts to unravel in ways that can be both hilarious and alarming. Have you ever found yourself searching frantically for your phone, only to realize you're holding it in your hand? Or maybe you've poured orange juice into your cereal instead of milk, then stared at the bowl in confusion. These aren't just senior moments, they're classic signs of sleep-deprived memory lapses. The hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for forming new memories, is especially sensitive to lack of sleep. When you're running on empty, it struggles to encode and retrieve information, leading to embarrassing forgetfulness and even false memories. In fact, research shows that people who are sleep-deprived are more likely to remember things that never actually happened. Your brain, desperate to fill in the blanks, sometimes invents details to make sense of the chaos. This can be funny, like insisting you replied to a text you never sent, or it can be dangerous, especially if you're driving or making important decisions. The line between reality and imagination blurs, and your confidence in your own memory can become a trap. So, if you've ever felt like your brain is playing tricks on you after a long night, you're not alone. It's just another strange thing your mind does when it's begging for rest. Number 4. Microsleeps, the brain's sneaky power nap. Now, let's talk about something even more bizarre: microsleeps. Imagine you're sitting in a meeting, nodding along, when suddenly you realize you missed the last 30 seconds. Or maybe you're driving, and for a terrifying instant you can't remember the last stretch of road. These are microsleeps, tiny involuntary episodes where your brain actually falls asleep for a few seconds, even while your eyes are open. You might look awake to everyone else, but inside your brain is taking a quick, desperate nap. During these moments, your awareness vanishes. Your reaction time plummets, and you're completely at the mercy of your autopilot. Scientists have found that even a single night of poor sleep can trigger microsleeps, and the more tired you are, the more frequently they occur. What's truly unsettling is that you often don't realize it's happening until it's over. This is why drowsy driving is so dangerous. Your brain can check out without warning, leaving you vulnerable to mistakes or accidents. In fact, Sleep deprivation is a major factor in countless car crashes and workplace injuries every year. So if you ever catch yourself zoning out and losing track of time, don't just shrug it off. It's your brain waving a red flag, demanding rest before it takes matters into its own hands. The scariest part? You can't will yourself to stay awake forever. Eventually, your brain will win. Number 5. Emotional roller coaster. Why everything feels intense. As if memory lapses and microsleeps weren't enough, your tired brain also loves to mess with your emotions. Ever notice how everything feels more dramatic when you're exhausted? A minor inconvenience can suddenly feel like a catastrophe, and a small victory might make you unreasonably giddy. This isn't just moodiness, it's your brain's emotional regulation system going haywire. When you're sleep deprived, the amygdala, which processes fear and anxiety, becomes hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, the part that helps you stay rational and calm, gets sluggish. The result? You're more likely to snap at loved ones, cry over commercials, or feel overwhelmed by everyday tasks. Studies have shown that people who are tired are not only more sensitive to negative emotions, but also less able to control their reactions. It's like your brain's emotional brakes have failed, leaving you at the mercy of every passing feeling. This can strain relationships, cloud your judgment, and make even simple decisions feel impossible. The world seems harsher, people seem less friendly, and your own thoughts can turn against you. So if you've ever wondered why you feel like a completely different person after a sleepless night, it's not just in your head. Your tired brain is literally rewiring your emotional landscape, making everything feel a little more intense and a lot more unpredictable. Number 6. Sensory distortions when the world feels off. But the strangeness doesn't stop with your emotions. When you're tired, your senses themselves can start to play tricks on you. Colors might seem duller, sounds can become strangely sharp or muffled, and even your sense of taste and smell can shift. Some people report that food tastes bland or metallic after a sleepless night, while others find themselves hypersensitive to everyday noises, the hum of a refrigerator, the ticking of a clock, or the distant bark of a dog. This sensory distortion happens because your brain, low on energy, starts to prioritize only the most essential information, letting other details slip through the cracks or get exaggerated. In extreme cases, people have even reported feeling disconnected from their own bodies, as if they're watching themselves from a distance, a phenomenon known as depersonalization. It's your brain's way of coping with overload, creating a buffer between you and the world when it can't process everything at once. These sensory glitches can be disorienting, even frightening, especially if you don't realize what's causing them. But they're also a powerful reminder of just how much your brain does behind the scenes to keep your reality stable. When sleep is in short supply, that stability starts to crumble, and the world can feel like a very strange place indeed. Number 7. Focus fails, bad decisions, and impulsivity. Another strange thing your brain does when you're tired is sabotage your ability to focus and make decisions. You might find yourself rereading the same paragraph over and over, unable to absorb the words, or staring at a simple task and feeling completely overwhelmed. This isn't just laziness or lack of motivation. It's your prefrontal cortex, the brain's decision-making center, running on empty. When you're well rested, this part of your brain helps you plan, prioritize, and resist distractions. But after a night of poor sleep, it's like trying to run sophisticated software on a dying battery. You become more impulsive, more likely to make risky choices, and less able to weigh the consequences of your actions. In fact, studies have shown that sleep-deprived people are more likely to gamble, overspend, or make snap judgments they later regret. Your brain starts to crave instant rewards, ignoring long-term goals in favor of whatever feels good right now. This can lead to everything from unhealthy snacking to sending that text you'll wish you could unsend. The world doesn't slow down just because you're tired, but your brain's ability to keep up takes a serious hit. So if you've ever wondered why you make questionable decisions when you're exhausted, now you know. Your tired brain is running the show, and it's not always thinking clearly.